Hello friends, my name is Robbie. I use he, they pronouns. This isn't the channel that I usually post on. I actually have a music/creative channel. That's where most of my content will go, but I figured adding commentary to that huge stack of things that I do will just make it into kind of like a weird soup full of mayhem and nonsense, so I didn't want to do that. I'm sorry if you are also subscribed to the other channel and that you're now having to jump between two channels. I'm very sorry about that. I seem to do that a lot with accounts where I just make a million of them, but I hope it's okay. I've been watching a lot of Jamie Dodger recently, and he does this series about like queer-centered Am I the A-hole posts. So I kind of wanted to try my own hand at that, except not necessarily just queer-centered. So that's what I'm here to do, and I hope it's enjoyable. I think I have good opinions sometimes, so hopefully it's a fun little time. I'm not going to talk for any longer. Let's get right into it. This first one is called Am I the A-hole for skipping a celebration for my sister? My younger sister was born way early and almost didn't make it. For the first year of her life, I lived with my aunt and uncle because my parents wanted to devote as much time to her as they could and didn't want to worry about me at that time. I came home when she finally did. She has chronic health stuff from being born so early. She's had a few surgeries since she left the hospital too. I remember my parents adoring her so much and celebrating every tiny milestone she hit and making it into a very big celebration. I was jealous, I admit. My parents' attention was focused so much on her that I was overlooked a lot, and I still am. I am so sorry. They cheer on every little thing for her and don't notice anything for me. I was given an award at the end of middle school for Best Artist. Congratulations. And my parents didn't show up to it. They didn't mention it, and I know they got the emails, and I gave them a note from my teacher about the ceremony and how parents needed to be there too. I mentioned it to them, and they seemed so disinterested. It pissed me off. It's very valid to be frustrated. Another reason for the focus being on my sister so much is when she was in first grade, her school went on a field trip and there was an accident. My parents were freaking out and going crazy with worry, and after she got back safe and unharmed, they were saying how she really was a miracle, and they almost lost her twice, and how she was the most precious thing in the world to them. My sister got so used to talking about herself and her struggles that she takes over things for other people. She brought it up at our cousin's wedding and so many of her class's birthday parties that my parents get calls to pick her up early most of the time. Yikes. But she really adores me and wants us to be so close and always wants to hang out. But she also talks about how sick she was and how early she was born and how special she is. It annoys me. You can't really blame her for it, right? It's kind of your parents' fault. I don't like my sister. I don't even know that I love her. Oh. Part of me resents her. Like, I know this is on our parents and they're at fault, but I hate being around her. I hate that she loves me. I wish she would focus on others because I'd rather not be in the same room as her. I don't want to celebrate her. My sister got some early report card that was all A's for the first time. My parents decided to throw a party to celebrate her. She told me how excited she was and wanted me there. I didn't want to go. I hated the idea of celebrating her achievements, so I just didn't show up. I went to a friend's house. My parents only cared or noticed when my sister got upset that I wasn't there. Oh, I feel so sorry for this person. I was grounded for 2 weeks and it just ended. My parents told me it wasn't fair to my sister to skip something so important for her, something so huge. I asked them when I was celebrated like that, and they told me it wasn't about me, it was about her. My sister has been so different since. I hear her cry sometimes, so I know it did hurt her. Am I the a-hole? I'm not gonna blame this on you, because it's definitely not your fault. I think just a little bit because of how much she loves you, how much she looks up to you, how much she wanted you to be there and you didn't show up. I think that was kind of rude, but I totally understand how you would probably be feeling in that situation. The parents are definitely the assholes here because I totally understand wanting to pay extra attention to kids with health issues, wanting to make sure they're okay, wanting to make sure they live. I totally get that, but in that process, you also have to make sure not to neglect your other kid. So it's definitely mostly on the parents here. No, it's fully on the parents. I just thought it was a little bit rude to not go to something your sister cared so much for, and she loves you, you know, and you definitely shouldn't take this out on her. That is my diagnosis, is not the asshole, really. I can't even imagine how I would feel in that situation. Can't even imagine. That is so awful. That is so difficult. I'm so sorry that your parents treat you like that. That definitely should not happen. You deserve the same love and the same attention that your sister gets. And I feel like it's a really common thing that some kids talk about where like their parents devote most of their attention to one of the kids, whether that's because their kid is newborn or it's because of like they're struggling with something. I feel like it's a very common thing where kids do get neglected by their parents when something new happens or when more problems arise. I really feel for this person, and I hope that everything gets better for them because this sounds really rough. This sounds like a struggle. It sounds very frustrating. But definitely don't take it out on your sister. She's 12 years old. She doesn't deserve that. She was raised like that. She was raised with everybody talking about her and how well she's doing. That's not really her fault. Am I the asshole for giving away my stepson's room? It's kind of hard to tell. Depends on the reason. Let's see. I'm married almost 10 years and have 3 stepsons and 2 biological sons. I have a friendly, loving relationship with the oldest, who was almost an adult when we met. The youngest was an infant, and I have raised him. We are extremely close. I also have a good friendship with their mother. And then there is the middle. I'll call him Bert. Bert has been an absolute nightmare from day one. He lies, steals, destroys property, manipulates his parents in the most obvious ways, but they never see it. He had everyone convinced that he had enlisted at 18, but his ship date never arrived, therefore he just kept living with us. Yikes. None of the kids have to pay rent to stay here, so long as they are in school, working toward a goal, etc. That's my mom's rule too. Bert, however, just continued to work his high school job, blowing his entire paycheck on anime, games, stupid things. We've also bought him 2 cars, which he crashed the first one, and asked only that rules and curfew be followed. It seems like they're being very lenient. Of course he didn't follow them. The biggest problem was his cleanliness. It's been a fight his whole life, but as an adult, he needed to get it together. I'm talking rotting food in his room, ew. Smoking indoors, absolutely not okay, which I totally agree with. Piles and piles of garbage. It came to a point where the housekeepers advised that if we even wanted them to open his door, we would be charged more. Jesus Christ. How bad is it that even the housekeepers are like, oh, hell no. Can you imagine how much shit they see on a daily basis? That's terrible. Oh my god. Finally, when the smell began affecting the whole house again, I went in to clean it up again. It took me about 7 hours. Oh, I feel so bad for this person. When my husband arrived home to find the 10 plus garbage bags along with paraphernalia, I'm not good at pronouncing that word, let's move on, and other unmentionables, he was infuriated and sent him a last chance text. Sometime over the following days, Bert came and took some of his things, clothes, video games, work items that indicated he had, for all intents and purposes, left to his mom's. 4 months go by without a single word or visit. He never answered the phone that we pay for and is still driving the car that we pay for. Eventually, his dad and I texted him to let him know that he needs to get his things, that his brother, not my biological either for clarification, would be taking the room. 9-year-old has very tiny room. After 2 more months and 10 plus texts, I carefully packed his things, safely stored, and was forced to repaint and refloor the whole room due to the filth and moved his brother into it. It was that bad that you had to redo the whole room? Jesus Christ, dude. Suddenly, he is big time playing the victim. Makes sense. You can imagine, I'm sure, the types of stories being told. I've kicked him out, was glad he left, put his dad against him, etc. I honestly think he has a personality disorder / is just an abusive person. Some people just are, and that's sad but true. And he was given every opportunity to stay here or collect his things. In any case, it leaves me feeling guilty, so am I the asshole? I don't think you should try to diagnose him with anything, but you're definitely not the asshole. Jesus, I would probably do a similar thing. Like, I feel like they're being so easy on him and they're trying to be understanding, whatever. And he's still just like taking complete advantage of it. And I honestly feel really bad for this parent. Like, sounds like they've been stressed, and honestly I would be too. That's so that's so awful. I definitely think you're not the asshole. Jesus. Oh, that's awful. Oh, I'm so sorry. Come on, like they were being so lenient, only asking him to follow simple rules and follow his curfew. That's all they were really asking. And they bought him so much stuff too, like they were really trying to help him out and it just still wasn't enough for him. Am I the asshole for thinking it's unfair I have to change my clothes just to accommodate my brother's friends? No. Immediately no. If you have to change for anybody, oh, you are not the asshole. Absolutely not. Like, that's their problem. That's totally on them. I, 16 male, have always been feminine growing up, and people often mistake me for being a girl. I never had a problem with this, and I didn't think my family did either until yesterday. My brother told me that when his friends come over, I'm starting to make them uncomfortable because of the way I dress. I've known his friends for a while now, and they have never said anything or made it known that I was making them uncomfortable before, and I hardly talk to them anyway. This already sounds bad. If I see them, I speak and all, but I mostly be in my room. I told him that I don't see how I can make them uncomfortable if I'm not around them enough to do so, but he then told me that his friends started getting uncomfortable because I look too much like a girl. Sounds like your brother needs to get some new friends. I was confused by this, as I didn't see how that was my problem, as I'm literally barely around them, but okay, yeah, definitely not your problem. Definitely on them. He got our dad involved when I started ignoring him, and our dad agreed with him and told me to try and dress less feminine when my brother's friends are around, because he doesn't want them to be uncomfortable since they are the guest. Oh, yikes. Oh, yikes, that's stupid. Okay. When I told him that I found it unfair, he told me that he wasn't trying to be unfair, but just wants everyone to feel comfortable and welcomed, and he's just trying to be considerate of everyone's feelings. What about the person posting? If they're comfortable in feminine clothing and you're trying to take that away, like, that's not making them feel comfortable. They should be allowed to dress however they want. It's really not fair. Saying that you're trying to be considerate of everyone's feelings, like, how can you say that when you're not being considerate of this person's feelings? Ugh, okay. At this point, I just gave up because it was really no point in arguing. Oh. So the problem happened earlier today. My brother was going to drive us home from school, and two of his friends always ride with us since their house is on the way. But since I'm making them uncomfortable, I decided I was just going to walk home. And when I told my brother this, he asked me if I was being serious. I told him that I was, and that's exactly what I did. I made it home like 50-ish minutes later. Oh my god. Okay. Our dad came home like 2 hours after I did, and my brother told on me, and my dad got mad. He literally started screaming at me and told me that what I did was dangerous, blah, 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 blah. I told him that since my brother's friends are uncomfortable around me, I was just trying to be considerate of everyone's feelings. You tell him. You get him, dude. Okay. He got upset I said that and told me that I took his words out of context, but I told him that I wasn't dressed very masculine, so I'd be disobeying him. Exactly! Like, what do you expect? He told me that I knew it didn't apply for school and that I was being stupid by putting myself in danger to prove a point. I told him that if that's the case, I can ride the bus then, because I'm not riding home with people who are uncomfortable with me, and since they have a problem with me, I don't want to be around them at all. This just made my dad mad. Oh, of course I did. He told me that he doesn't understand why I'm purposely being difficult when I'm normally reasonable. I'm just so upset right now. I don't see why I have to change the way I dress for people who aren't even living here. Am I really being unreasonable, or am I the asshole? You are not the asshole. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is ridiculous. They make a good point where, like, why should they have to change how they like presenting themselves for people that are barely even there, that barely even see them? Like, I don't get the dad or the brother's logic. And like, even if it was that big a problem, like, why couldn't the brother and his friends just go hang out somewhere else? Like, if you're really that uncomfortable, fix it yourself. That is your problem. This person lives in this house. They shouldn't have to change themselves just to make sure you're comfortable. So ridiculous. I can't even think of another word except for ridiculous. That is so shitty. I feel so awful for that person. I am so sorry you have to go through that. Oh my god. Jesus. That pisses me off. Ugh. Ugh, okay. The last one. Am I the asshole for not wanting to get my best friend tampons anymore? Yes. I'm thinking yes, but let's see where this goes. I love my best friend. We have known each other for 10 plus years since high school, but she is really irresponsible. She forgets her backpack, her headphones, etc. at home all the time. She's the same way on her period. Every period she asks me to borrow a pad slash tampon. She always forgets them. Sounds like me, kind of. Whoops. It's gotten to the point where it annoys me. Like, she asked me to borrow one today. She starts her period at this time of the month, every month. I asked why she didn't remember to bring them, and she looked shocked. She said she forgot. I told her to use toilet paper. Okay. She told me she can't, she'll bleed through it. I said I was tired of giving her tampons, I've loaned her out a bunch. I always remember to bring mine, why can't she? She might be struggling with something, you know? Even if she's not, like, still. She said I was being a shit friend. I kind of agree with her on that. She asked if I was seriously not going to give her one. I said I was serious and she'd figure it out without me. I'm not always going to be around. She can't always rely on me. It seems to me she forgets her stuff on purpose because she knows I'll always bail her out. That's kind of a fair point. Like, she can't always depend on you. She shouldn't, like, what'll happen if one day you're not there? Like, I get that, but come on. Come on. She ended up buying tampons and I watched her do it. I said she has to understand they're expensive and she asked me almost every month. She said I was a terrible best friend and left her high and dry. Am I the asshole? Can we talk about this for a second? First of all, I'm gonna say yeah, a little bit. Yeah, kind of. But can we talk about this for a second? I said she has to understand they're expensive. Can we talk about that? Period products are so fucking expensive. It is so unfair, honestly. Like, I feel like a lot of basic needs are just so friggin' expensive. That's not fair. That's my views on that. So yeah, I'm thinking a little bit. I get the whole point that, like, you know, she can't always depend on me. What if one day I'm not there and she's just stuck like that? Like, I get that, but even if you don't want to keep lending out tampons to her, at least try to figure out a way to help her remember. Like you said earlier, the whole like, oh, she starts her period around this time every month. Like, if you know when her period starts, maybe send her a text every day. Like, make sure to bring your pads and tampons. Make sure to bring all the products that you need so you could be set for the day. I mean, as someone, listen, this is my personal experience. As someone who has ADHD, I have the kind of ADHD where I literally forget fucking everything. And if one of my friends came up to me when I was on my period and was like, no, you can't have any more pads and tampons. No, I'm sick of giving them to you. I'd be like, well, great, now I'm fucked, thanks. Help a girl out if she's struggling, you know? And then once that's done, remind her, tell her, okay, this is what you need for today, okay? Don't forget it. Or like call her and be like, put those in your bag right now. Like, if it's really frustrating you this much, then again, like, actively try to help. Don't just like shut her down, you know? Do you get my point? Like, just give the girl a tampon, okay? I don't think that's a bad take. A really good take, though, is that period products should not be very expensive. That's the message of today. That's the lesson of the video. No, but seriously, yeah, just help your friend out. Come on. Just help her out. Those are all the posts I have for today. I hope that was fun. I think it was kind of an adventure. I liked it. I'm probably going to post on this channel a lot because I think these kinds of videos are easier to make than full-ass songs. So, yeah. Anyways, I hope you liked that. I hope you're doing well. I hope everything's going good for you. I hope you're staying safe. Comment down below. I'm really curious what your opinions are on the stories that I read today. If you disagree, if you agree, let me know. I would love to hear it. Anyways, I'm gonna go now. It is literally 4 in the morning. I should not be filming this late, but I am, so fuck. Anyways, yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.